Good afternoon. What's going on, everybody? This is Dylan with Dylan Talks Tone. This is the Just Gonna Say It podcast. It's a thing we do every Tuesday afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We record it live, and then we upload it later to all the podcast stuff. For those of you that get in the comments after every video and ask me, hey, where do I buy your pickups, etc.? There's no link down below. Yes, there is, but you know what we'll do? Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Hang on, we'll find it. Where is it? Oh, here we go. We'll just put this up on the screen right here. In fact, we'll just drag this right over here. Here we go. DylanTalksTone.com. That way you know where to go get, the pickups are good. They're very good. So, since we don't really have sponsors, do me a favor and go check out DylanTalksTone.com. That's where you can buy all of our wares that we make that actually make our living around here. The other thing, too, to support the channel, if you would, do me a favor and check out patreon.com/DylanTalksTone. I appreciate all of you on Patreon that support us here on the channel. And also any of the links below that, have stuff, because affiliate links, etc., it all keeps the channel going, so I appreciate it very much. Welcome to everybody who is hanging out here this evening, this afternoon, depending on your time zone. I know there's some folks from across the pond who watch our channel, so welcome to you as well as other people in the other parts of the world. So, I don't have a whole bunch to talk about today, but there was, because of NAMM, actually, this past weekend, there was just a bunch of new gear that I was kind of interested in. Obviously, you didn't have to go to NAMM to find out about it. I mean, I didn't go, but still, there was some cool stuff and some stuff not at NAMM. And I'm working on a couple of guitars right now. Identical Strat and Tele, those are the ones that you saw in the thumbnail of this here video. And also, I was thinking about this Les Paul. I was literally really wanted to buy this Les Paul last week. And ultimately, how much different is it than the Les Paul that I already have? Not that much different, but it's so cool. And just kind of thinking about what guitars, why, okay, so I know that there's a bunch of you Tele people out there that are like, well, I have to have one with a white pickguard on it, and I have to have one with a, I'm teasing. But I'm kind of teasing. How different do your guitars have to be? How different do they have to be? How much variety do you like to have in your collection? Are you trying to have one of everything? You know how there's the Tele, the Strat, the Les Paul, SG, the 335. Is it a Les Paul and an SG close enough for you that you don't care about it? Do you just want a humbucker guitar and a single coil guitar? Do you want, like that? Or do you want every decade of the Telecaster, but you want nothing but Telecasters? What is that? What drives those choices? I have kind of a, how do you want to say, a master list of guitars that I kind of want to own at some point in my life, even if I don't keep them for very long. I just want to try them. And I'm one of these people that wants to try everything. I know that there's a lot of people that are like, I'm a Tele guy, or I'm a Strat guy, or I'm only a Les Paul guy, or I'm only a Strat, and I've never been that way. And I think that's, of course, people give me in the comments a lot of hard time about, you change your mind a lot. No, I don't change my mind a lot. I just want to try everything. And of course, it's not reasonable to keep everything. So it's not that you change your mind. You just want to try stuff. So I'm kind of curious about what you all think. Also, if you have questions, put them in the chat over here. If you use a super chat, I will see it. It will pop up on the screen as a different color, and we will drop what we're doing and answer that super chat immediately. I will try to get to as many of your questions as possible as we talk here. Let's see. Hey Dylan, I emailed you about possibly doing a copycat Fiore setup as a loaded pick guard with all the cool functions of a Fiore. Is that a possibility, and which of your pickups would be right? For that, I would do. You could do that. That would be really cool. Um, for that, I would do a their classic five setup. Those pickups are really low output. So I would say classic five singles and a DAF bridge, which I wouldn't normally put in a strat, but that's what that would be. That'd be a super low output setup. And then all you would do is just have a push pull to turn on the neck pickup so that you have it in all of those positions. And then you could parallel switch on one push pull, and then you would parallel switch the humbucker on the other. We don't currently have a loaded pick guard for that setup. I could do it. There would be a markup on it because there's a bunch of extra fiddling, but that's something we could totally do. That'd be really kind of a cool thing. But yeah, I would use the classic five, the really low output strat pickups, as well as the DAF. Yep. I got an ad for an SUV Rogue last time watching a video of yours. Thought you might find it funny. That is pretty funny. Doesn't matter what I play, I sound like me. I know, right? Main criteria I have is to love the guitar when I'm done playing with it. I just want to be amazed. That being said, I'm considering selling my new 335. The body is just too big. That's interesting. So yeah, you just decide you didn't connect with it, and boom, there you go. You're on to the next thing. I totally get it. That's kind of my thing. I I'm curious because a lot of these conversations. Let's just say this too. The I'm just gonna say it moment is coming very early today. Um, a lot of the stereotypes that we think guitar players think um, come from Facebook groups and from various things like that, but they are very much the minority. When we say, you know, this guy's only a telly guy, this guy's only a strat guy, this guy only can play this particular fretboard radius, this guy, all those various things that we think are these truths are actually very limited number of folks. Because when we have these conversations on Tuesdays together, we find out that the majority of people are just like, it's just a guitar. I think it's cool, which is very refreshing, right? But also very interesting because I think that's, you know, I think that's really cool to find out that that is a refreshing thing about all of us. I really dig that a lot. Um, the other thing too, I'm going to try something new. For those of you that are watching this in replay, um, if you have a question that you want answered, I'm going to pick one or two for next week to answer during this podcast. Um, I got the idea again from a knife channel. Um, my daughter's hooked on winding pickups. She wants to come over here and see if there's any more to wind tomorrow. How about that? That's pretty cool. Um, she really is very good at it. I have to tell you, she's very good at it. So yeah, if you have any questions, you're watching this in replay and you missed it for whatever, get in the comments below the video, not the chat over here, but and we need to put this on do not disturb. All right, until this evening. Okay, cool. Let's see. RE active pickups, liking my Fishman Fluence classic humbuckers for a PRS SE with 2408 switching. Dude, that's really cool. I'm glad you dig those. Those are an interesting combination, especially for a PRS. That's the first I've heard of somebody putting them in a PRS. I dig that a lot. You know me, combinations that are kind of wacky are things that I am very, very interested in. Here you've got, let's see, Rob's got a Squire Strat with 3 Bonnevilles, a Squire Mustang, about to receive P90s. Nice. I want an Epiphone with LP with humbuckers. Nice. A Gibson LP Cherry Burst with P90. So you have a list. That's very cool. That's very, very cool. You have a list. I dig that a lot. And having a list is cool. Yeah, sorry about that, you guys. That was just a notification on my computer. I did silence all the notifications on the computer. Um, I get, it's a Mac, so I get text messages and stuff all, as I'm working, and so it all comes through the computer. So putting it on do not disturb. It's sort of like watching Texas Toast Guitars and betting on when the compressor is going to turn on, only when I'm going to get my first text message during the live stream and then remember to put the computer on do not disturb. So there you go. I think that was about 4:09 when that actually happened. So just so you know. I like your shirt, Dylan. Are those for sale? Are those on the? I don't know if those are on the website or not. I made this one for me, and then I don't know if I put them on the website or not. We could though. I very much could do that. That would be no big deal at all whatsoever. Did you ever get a chance to fiddle with the hyper switch thingy? It is happening. So Friday, the Ibanez, I believe you're going to see that video next Friday. You're going to see that video. I think that video we're going to have 2 different hyper switch videos. And the first one is going to happen next Friday. This coming Friday is actually going to be the Ibanez Geo. That guitar is going to get some work throughout the week this week. And then that video will come out Friday. And then probably next Friday is going to be that hyper switch video. We had a little, well, we didn't have we're busy. And so some of I feel bad. Like I've got all these projects. So we've got, the Ibanez Geo, we've got the Strat, we've got the Tele, we've got, a couple other pedal reviews and some other stuff that I've got. It's just piling up because I've been shooting a video every day of the week for the last 3 weeks or so. But the problem is I would shoot more, but the problem is we are slammed. So obviously I don't know, we're still selling, I don't know how many P90s every day, a lot of them. But then the other thing that happened is we're doing this Stratathon thing. Texas Toast Guitars is having a huge custom made to order for a very reasonable price, very good Stratocaster setup. And so we're building all of their pick guards, the loaded pick guards for all those guitars that are part of that. So CTS pots, paper and oil caps, all of these have CRL switches, custom wind of our pickups that is actually not on the website, which is really cool. And then, for example, this one is a single hum setup, which is really cool. And we're doing modern bridge tones on all of them. These things are sick. They're like really, really, really killer. But I've got 7 or 8 of them right here that we spent today building. And then, of course, all of the P90 stuff that's been going on. It's just been crazy. So I'm trying to keep up with video content, but stuff's taking, if I say it took a week, usually or 2 weeks to get to a video, it's taking 3 or 4 weeks to get to a video. So I hate that because it's not as timely as the rest of the internet, but I don't think people realize that as much as I love making YouTube content, it has to be second to making pickups, because that's really what pays the bills around here. So we have to kind of prioritize making pickups. We got a super chat. Let's see. DDC 441. I'm not happy with the stock pickups in my PRS McCarty S2. Which DTTs would be a good replacement and preserve the coil splitting? Can a beginner solderer install them? Yes, I believe that they can be. Thank you for the super chat, DDC 441. I would definitely recommend our center punch pickups for that guitar. Um, yes, that's what I would do. I would put our center punch pickups in there, and that would be awesome. And they would coil split with no volume drop, better than the stock ones that are in there. You wouldn't even need to run the resistor or anything. You could just run it straight to the switch with no resistor in the middle. It will coil split better than what's in there. And I think you would dig it very, very much. That would be pretty awesome. Let's see. I see I'm missing some questions here. Which output jack did you choose for the Ibanez Geo? I don't know. I'm gonna look at that because I don't know if that guitar has a plate or not. I forgot to look. I have a couple of options laying around here, and that stuff's probably gonna actually go down tomorrow afternoon and Thursday. So that's when I'm actually gonna do the work and or put the humbuckers in it. The pickup that's going in it is we're putting the new clear humbucker. So this is another thing that's going on right now, everybody. Just hang on, let me grab them really quick. This is the clear bobbin humbucker that we used to be known for. We made lots of them, and for a long time I lost a supplier that I couldn't get them anymore. And so I have secured a supplier for at least a limited run of them. I need a new mic stand. I've secured a supplier for at least a limited run of them, and so we've got them available on the website right now. They're linked in the description right at the bottom, or right at the top of the description to this YouTube video. So that's going on right now if you want to try those things. They're really, really cool. You could use a three-way switch as a kill switch or to split the coils in the humbucker, otherwise it won't do anything. I wouldn't use a three-way. I would use a double pull, double throw probably, or a single pull. All it has to do is, I wouldn't use a kill switch either because usually those are momentary. You need something that's not momentary. You need something that's latching, that actually when you push the button it stays in that position. Otherwise you would have to hold the button down to maintain the coil split. So yeah. Hillbilly George says that he likes to run play with cheaper Squire Strats and stuff because he likes to mod. Well, you're my kind of guy because that's what we like to do, is put cool pickups in cheap guitars. That's really, really fun thing to do, right? Yeah, I dig that a lot. Rob F. I watched a Sweetwater video today about the Tonex capture box. Are you still planning to get one? I hope so, as I'm really looking forward to see an amp capture video of yours. I have one. It's right there. And that is one of the videos that we are getting to. Putting a three-way switch in a humbucker guitar. Yeah, so you could, one of the things you can do with a three-way switch, but it would, a normal three-way switch doesn't really do you any good. It would have to be double pull, double throw, and then I think you could play with, let's see. We've done things where you do one coil, then the other coil, and then both coils. That's kind of a fun thing to do. I kind of like that a lot. three-way pair of three-way toggle switches on my PRS SE to access all three voices from each pickup. Yeah, and what's really cool about that is if you have a guitar with two humbuckers in it, it's actually it's one of the PRSs has this as its switching scheme, but inside coils versus outside coils is a subtle but very interesting change. So what I mean by that is if you have a humbucker, let's say you have two humbuckers in the guitar and you switch both of them from this coil to this coil, so it goes from inside to outside, that is an interesting tonal change. It's subtle, but it's very cool. And that's something that can be done also, which is very fun. We don't get so much into that stuff with the stuff we sell. People ask me that all the time. How come you don't have this switching scheme? How come you don't have that wiring set up? Blah, blah, blah. Because we don't have time. And to be honest with you, we don't sell that much wiring stuff. For every, let's say we sold 20 pickups today, we might have sold one Telecaster wiring kit. The problem with that is that I would have to, that custom wiring stuff then becomes, okay, I have to figure it out first because I don't always know it. So like sometimes somebody will call and say, can this be done? And I'm like, okay, well, I need to like Google up a wiring diagram. I need to figure it out. Yes, okay, it can be done. Okay, I have to think about it. By that time, I'm like losing money on it already. Like if I have to spend 20 minutes to figure it out, and then, because I'm not a genius, and because Leslie and I were just talking about this yesterday, that I don't know if you do this or not, but when you know that there are certain pieces of information that are easily available, I don't clog my brain with them. I do not memorize wiring diagrams because I know that I can look at it and then wire the guitar. There's no point in trying to remember it. So every time somebody calls and says, I have this crazy custom wiring thing I want to do, I'm like, because then I have to go and research it, do it, figure it out, make sure we have the parts here. Do I have a four-way switch? Do I have enough coil splits? Do I have all this stuff? Then it's one. I'm only making one of them. So that's the reason we don't do a lot of that stuff. That's the reason why what I would really like to do is continue to build a diagram database, and it's something I'm kind of working on. There's a few on the when you buy our pickups, we give you that little card and you get to scan it, and there's a few there, and I'm trying to grow that so that you can do it yourself instead of me like I feel inadequately doing it because I'm doing one at a time. I guess if that makes sense. Telly stuff, I can make 10 of them in a very short amount of time because they're very repeatable and they're very easy. And a Telly circuit is the only one that I have memorized. I made 8 Strat pickguards today, and I looked at a diagram every time. I still don't have, well, maybe after today I kind of have a Strat diagram memorized. But I just don't choose to clog up my brain with stuff that I know I can just look at it really quick. So, yeah. Plus, it keeps you learning. Because a lot of times I'll Google a wiring diagram that I've not seen before, or one that I've done before in the past, and I find a new way to do the old one, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's actually easier, and there's less connections, but it does the same thing. So, like, I've figured out 3 or 4 different ways to wire a 4-way Telecaster, but I never do the same way twice. I can't never remember. I take that back. I have a wiring diagram on my computer that I use, but there are a bunch of different ways to do it. There's a bunch of different ways to do an Esquire. There's a bunch of different ways to do that kind of stuff. So instead of worrying about it all, you just kind of have to know that. It's kind of interesting. It's fun. I saw a guy from Australia with one pickup humbucker, and he put a 3-way to get 3 different sounds. Yeah, so we used to do a thing with our center punch and our 8-ball. And Jimmy might still do it at Jimmy at Jersey Shore Guitar Garage. we used to do this thing where we would basically take his serial telly. Actually, you can just do this.
Okay. I found this on the web for
What
his serial tally.
in the heck?
I found this on the web.
Good grief. Sorry, y'all. That was ridiculous. Um, we used to do this with the. He has a 5-way telly setup, and it's neck. It's neck, middle, and bridge, and then the notch positions are one is out of phase and one is in series. So it's 5-way position on a telly, and it is phenomenally good. It's a very, very, uh, very good deal. So what you can do is you can buy that wiring kit from him, and then instead of hooking up 2 single coils, just hook up both single coils of the humbucker as if they were the single coils of the telly. See what I'm saying? Because you just have 2 single coils. You just have to figure out which way they're supposed to go. But then you would have a 5-way switch, a volume and a tone, and you would have all those things with one pickup. And it's very, very cool. Yeah, I dig it a lot. Yeah, seriously. Sorry, I can't say her name. Um, yeah, super cool setup. I really, really dig that, and it's something that you could do. Basically, any of those. If you think about it, a 2 pickup guitar wiring schematic could be used for a single humbucker. Just consider each of the coils in the humbucker as a separate pickup. And then you could do whatever you wanted. Series, parallel, um, cut one off, cut the other one off. So like in that 5-way switch deal, you had one single coil, you had both single coils in parallel, you had both single coils in series, which is a regular humbucker. You had both single coils out of phase with each other, so an out of phase humbucker, and then you had the other coil. So it was just a really cool way to do it. It was really fun. What's up, Doc? How you doing, man? Um, yeah, super cool. It was a fun way to do it, and that would be a cool alternative way to wire a humbucker that I think you would really dig. What else we got in here? Talked a lot about wiring today. What other guitars are we into that I? So I'm just gonna give you my list. So I am always gonna have a Strat because um, I'd actually never played tellies until 10 years ago, and I always played Strats. Always, 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 always. And I always had my Strat, the one Strat that I have. I've always had it, never been without it, ever since I was pre-teens. I've always had that guitar. It's a very cool guitar, or maybe teenager. I don't know. Long time. I've had that guitar at least 30 years, at least. Um, and I really, 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 really love that guitar. And so, anyway, um, super cool. Started playing tellies. So now I always want a telly, and I don't have one right now. I have Chris's. I have Chris Hendricks' telly here, but the nut is broken. You guys probably saw that video. The nut will be here Friday, and we will get that thing going too. And we got parts for a Firebird pickup in the neck position of that guitar. So that's going to be a really, really cool. Oh, I got to order the pick guard for that. I got to get a pick guard coming for that guitar. Maple or rosewood? So my maple or rosewood choice is whatever makes the guitar look better. I would, and when I say maple or rosewood, it's either tan or brown. I don't care. I don't care, because if you think that the fretboard changes the tone of your guitar in any meaningful way, um, then that is a belief system that you are welcome to have. I do feel that it makes you change how you play the guitar, though. So if you play the guitar differently, obviously you're going to sound different. So I respect that opinion, but it's brown or tan. I have a Fiore with a maple fretboard. I will always choose a Strat or a Tele with a rosewood fretboard, or whatever. I don't care if it's whatever else they're making them out of these days. I don't care. Brown, as long as it's brown, I don't care. I just like how it looks. Um, yeah, I just like how brown necks look, as opposed to um, the maple ones. Um, is the guy that bought the monster you built at Texas Toast online, and does he have a review? Um, I don't think he's online right now. I actually think he is in Colorado at the moment. Hey Doc, you're online. Is Doug out there? Um, I'm not sure if he is or not. And I will tell you what his review is going to be because he's got 7 of them things already or whatever. He loves them. Um, yeah, those are really good guitars. They're building really cool stuff right now. They're building really cool stuff right now, and it's at a really good price point. Yeah. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. Yeah. So we have. I like this. I like this conversation though about all these various guitars that you're wanting for. I don't really, like I said, I don't really care about rosewood or maple. I'm just not a. I think whatever feels good on the instrument is fine with me. I wish. I, saying that being said, I prefer a brown fretboard. Oh, Doug is probably still in Florida because class is next week. Excellent. Okay, very good. Um, Strats are the same, but Telly's I kind of lean more to maple. I agree. Uh, I like a maple telly, but I will still have a rosewood one if I have the chance. Um, yeah, DIY layout creator is cool for putting together your own wiring diagrams, and in most cases, it can analyze the circuit for you and tell you what will be active with every switch position. Oh, we'll see you later, Don. What's really, David, I maybe I should do a video about that and show people how to use because that's a really cool thing. I don't know if you have to pay for. Do you have to pay for that, or is there a membership to it or anything? I hate I hate telling people about stuff you have to pay for. You know what I mean? Um, when it comes to that kind of stuff. But that would be really cool. Um, strings and pickups change tone the most. I think how you play changes tone the most. I mean, it does, right? Like, I think that's why I think it's so personal. Um, because what feels good and what feels good is different to anybody, everybody, That's the biggest one. Um, strings are cool. I like trying strings, but I've kind of leveled out on the string thing. I've kind of just gotten, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm using string joy stuff. I'm using Foxwood string joys on all my acoustics, and I have their normal string joys on most of my electrics. I have their new orbiters on a couple of my electrics, but I need to get some more orbiters for some of the electrics. Uh, and I will say, I'm not a string changing. This is an interesting one. We were just talking about this last night because I was changing strings on my close carbon fiber guitar and playing it in the living room. And I put new strings on it, and Leslie's like, "Man, that really did make a difference." And I was like, "Yeah." She asked me, She said, "How come when we watch these live streams, people always want to know what strings are on the guitar? Do they actually make a purchasing decision based on what strings are on the guitar?" And I'm like, I think some people put weight on the wrong things when they're trying to make a purchasing decision. She's like, because can't you just like take the strings off and put whatever strings you want on it when you get it? And I'm like, yes, you can. I was like, but I feel like a lot of people, at least the drama queens of the guitar world, and there's a lot of them, want to make a huge deal about how much they hate changing strings. And I'm like, I don't mind it. I like to change strings. I'll, if I'm watching the news or whatever, or if I'm, whatever, Netflix in the evening or catching up on some YouTube videos, that's when I'm, either sharpening a knife or playing around with my guitar, putting new strings on it, checking the setup, whatever, just kind of watching some Netflix, doing that kind of stuff. Um, that is when my guitar maintenance and my knife maintenance get done. That's when I'm stropping a blade or when I'm, checking the intonation on a guitar, when I'm just kind of chilling and watching. So I don't see guitar maintenance or, um, changing strings as this huge deal. But I was like, yeah, there are some drama queens out there that'll be like, oh, no, blah, 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 because there's a certain set of strings on a guitar because they don't want to change strings. That being said, my hands don't kill strings that much. So if I put a set of Foxwoods on my acoustic guitar, they can sit on that guitar for probably 6 months and I don't need to change them because my hands don't actually kill. You might have hands that like kill strings super fast, I don't, like rust your hardware on your guitar, like that kind of stuff. I don't have those hands. I don't have that body chemistry, so it's not that big a deal for me. Um, Changing strings makes the guitar feel new again. Yeah, man. Yeah, I grab my lizard spit stuff, you know? I'll give the frets a polish. I'll give the fretboard a bit of an oil if it needs it. Not always, a couple times a year. And, and clean it. Clean everything really good. The carbon fiber stuff's cool because it doesn't matter what you use on it. You just clean it. Um, and it's great, like I don't know, it's just a really cool therapeutic thing to do. Like I like knowing that all of my guitars play well because just over course of a couple, and what's really funny is if I haven't played a guitar in a while, I will literally grab it while I'm watching Netflix and just check the setup on it. So it doesn't take any time away from playing. It doesn't take time away from anything. Just kind of a little therapeutic thing that I do. And I do the same thing with knives. Like last night we were watching something and and as we were watching it, I just ran to the kitchen drawer and I knew that our main 7-inch chef knife just needed a little strop really quick. So as we're watching whatever, I'm just, got the strop out of the drawer and I just gave it a quick strop, threw it back in the drawer, and boom, I'm done. And it's not taking time out of your life. It's not this like, you just kind of work it in with stuff, and it's kind of a therapeutic thing to do, which is cool. I dig that a lot. Yeah, it's a neat little ritual thing. You're right, Rob F. Um, you get past 10 guitar change strings, money, 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 and then there's cleaning them. That's an interesting thing because that gets into how much do you play the guitar, right? And it's almost like the more you play them and you rotate them around, the less you have to. I feel like guitar strings that sit are almost worse than the ones that get played on a regular basis, unless you're the rust everything guy. You know what I mean? Because if you're the rust everything guy, then it's not. But yeah, that's an interesting thing to think about. String Joy gets kudos for the funky stuff like raised B sets and offset flats for J's and bass sixes. Yeah, they make all kinds. That's how they got started. Was Scott started off doing like custom wacky sets for people, and he was buying, bulk strings and then making custom sets. Now they actually make their own strings in Nashville. Um, they are not a relabeler of strings. They actually make them themselves there. It's pretty neat the way they do it. It's a really making strings is an interesting thing because it's one of those things. It's like making pickups. nobody, I don't think anybody who hasn't actually tried to do it or seen it done in person has a true appreciation for um, what it takes to make a string. I mean, it's, yeah. And we complain because, they're $12 a set or whatever. And it's like, I mean, they don't make themselves. Pretty interesting. Especially when you can call and get, you know, especially when you can call and get a custom set that's something you've never seen before or whatever. Vox Guitars rocks. I have quite a few guitars and I play each one less because of it. So strings last longer for me. Okay, so there you go. So see, I'm the opposite. If I let them sit, they go bad. Maybe it's because of the humidity here. I mean, I try to keep the humidity at like 50%, but invariably, it's going to move around a bunch. And yeah. And I have a thing too, like my main acoustic is my Breedlove. Well, two main acoustics, my McPherson and my Breedlove. And of course, I don't have to worry about the McPherson. That thing, you can leave it wherever you want because it's carbon fiber. And then I have that close acoustic, and that's carbon fiber, so you don't have to worry about that. But my Breedlove, I like to keep it in the case. The problem is that I like to play it a lot. So I like to have it hanging in the living room. So I'll hang it in the living room, and I'll play it for a while, and then I'll throw it back in the case, and it'll be in the case for a few months. And then I'll take it back out because I don't like to leave it out because that's kind of harder on them. You want them to be in the case. It's easier to um, control the humidity and whatnot. But that being said, the little humidity gauge that I have is hung right behind where the guitars are, so it's very accurate to what the guitars are feeling. So I try to be on top of that. Yeah, I try to be on top of that. I have a note with all 11 guitars, string gauges, and brand. Also, any ongoing problem or possible solutions. If I don't, it's almost like I erase it from my mind. So you have a service interval document. You have service interval documentation for each of your guitars. That is next level, and that's really cool. Um, wow, I should do that. I like that. I like that a lot because you might so especially if you don't run the same strings on every guitar and you don't have the same, like I don't have the same setup on every guitar. My Gibson SG Junior is set up completely differently from my Les Paul. My Les Paul is set up completely differently from my Strat. Like I don't just have um, there is, I need my action, blah, blah, blah. And I set all my guitars like that. I don't do that. I set them specific to the guitar and how I want that particular guitar to feel. So the setups are different for everything. So that's a really good idea, and I should do that. That's a really good idea. Hey, Chris, how you doing? For those of us in funky humidity areas, look up Boveda humidity packs for inside your cases. Yeah, I have the Didario ones, or maybe they're, I don't remember what brand they are, but yeah, that's what I have in my cases. And they work really, really good. Um, yep. I just write on the package with a Sharpie the date, and I put a little section of that in the guitar kit. See, okay, cool. Dylan, on your 8-ball humbucker, on your 8-ball pickup, on a guitar with only one tone control and one volume. Hang on, this is moving on me. What pots would you go with 500s? For sure. I have this weird brand loyalty thing. I started with Ernie Ball strings and I'm happy with them, so that's all I buy. It will remain so until they give me a good reason to try something else. Rob, I get that. I was an Ernie Ball guy for many, 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 many years, and in fact, I still am to some extent. So, because they're the cheapest, decent strings. And so they're my setup strings. Anytime I'm doing a guitar from scratch, and it's going to have 3 sets of strings on it, or for sometimes we do you don't see this a lot of times, but we'll do a video and it'll have like 3 string changes in it. You know, maybe the one when we put the new nut in Chris's guitar later this week, it might get 2 or 3 sets of strings by the time it's done, by the time we put new pickups in it, by the time we do whatever. So I'm not going to waste a bunch of string joys on that. So I'll put Ernie balls on that. When I was a kid, um, we were an Ernie ball dealer. And so I remember drawers of Ernie ball singles, the white paper with the red logos on them. And we just had, I mean, just tons of them, tons of them. So I was an Ernie ball guy my whole life. I will say this: try new strings. String technology has changed. There is a lot of gimmickry with it, but string technology has changed and they've gotten better. The metals have gotten better. There, like I said, there are some gimmicky stuff that doesn't really matter. Um, but yeah, definitely give it a shot. Um, let's see. If a person was to practice 20 minutes a day every day, how long will a set of strings last? 10 to 46. And the string joys are badass. I think that depends on your body chemistry. I think that depends on what you eat and etc. There's a whole bunch of things that go along with that. I think that is more important. I think that's different for everybody just because of everybody is physically different. Like how much do you sweat? How much what kind of sweat do you have? Like all that stuff is super 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 important. Um yeah. Dumb question. Magnet polarity on a 2 humbucker guitar. What is normal orientation? Bridge screw coil south, bridge slug coil north, and then neck slug coil north, neck screw coil south. So it doesn't matter. That's the way it is for us. So let me grab that humbucker again. So this is the screw coil, and on our pickups that's south. On the slug coil, that is north. Which way the pickup faces, this way or this way, does not change anything. That's why that Peter Green Les Paul with the backwards humbucker, and it's stupid because the fact that the pickup faces this way versus this way makes zero difference. Um, and actually, you can run a humbucker backwards if you want, doesn't matter. But I'm pretty sure Seymour Duncan is the same way as me, is that the screw coil is south and the slug coil is north. This I know for a fact. Don't trade up for guitars, save and buy the new guitar. Sold so much vintage stuff that if I had now 1950 yeah, I don't know. I buy and sell guitars all the time. Are you going to regret one once in a while? Yeah. I mean, I'm going to buy another Silver Sky at my earliest convenience because I really, really miss that guitar. I probably will even get the same color again. I really miss that. I love that guitar. Um, but I don't regret them. I'm not a regret guy anyway. I don't regret stuff. For me, it's about the experience, and you don't know and can't control the future and can't control what the market is going to be and all that kind of stuff. You don't know that stuff, and you can't keep everything. I mean, some people can, but do you have an 8-ball clear cover? I saw to see the 8-ball in your clear cover. No, we didn't do the 8-ball in the clear cover. If you want that pickup, get the Super 8. It's better. The Super 8's better. Just not gonna lie, it's better. Um, and I think the guitar thing is more about. I know that there's flipping people, and I know that there's people that are just like, yeah, but what's the resale value, bro? Like, I get that because I know that not everybody can afford to buy all the things, but that's where patience comes in. Like, I can't afford to buy all the things either. That's why I didn't order a Les Paul last week. Like, it's not smart for me to order a Les Paul right now. um, it's not because I just bought one. So, patience. Be patient. Save up. Like, I was just thinking about it today. I could have bought that Les Paul, but I'm actually going to buy some more tools for the shop. I'm buying a tool for the shop, and I'm really excited about it. Something that's not cheap, but it's going to bring our pickups to the next level, and I'm very excited about it. So that's happening very soon. I got to call the supplier tomorrow and see what the availability is and etc. But anyway, yeah, that's a very cool thing. But the problem is then that means I can't buy a guitar. So you just have to be smart. You just have to be smart, plan, and don't be impatient about stuff. Um, that's really what it comes down to. Use the crimson fretboard oil. That's cool. TW Tade pots. I've never used those. I don't know what they are. The Stumac stuff will mold. That's interesting. I tell you what won't mold is the lizard spit stuff. I just talked to Chris from Lizard Spit. He called me the other day, and man, every time I talk to him, um, he his stuff is so good. Uh, you can use the Sweetwater link to get it. They have the entire line of their stuff. I need to do some more videos about some Lizard Spit stuff because it is really, really good. And people will say it's too expensive. They will say whatever. But I've told Chris for many years that his stuff is so good that the problem is that it lasts too long. Like, you could buy a bottle of fretboard oil and it's like $17 or whatever. Oh my gosh, that's $17. I can get this cheaper crap on Amazon. Yes, you can, but it literally lasts forever. I have the original bottle that he gave me almost 10 years ago, and it's down about this far. And I use it way more than most of you will. Um, it lasts forever, literally too long. So definitely get it. Um, will you make pickups with LEDs in it? Probably not. We did it one time. Me and Wayne Harmon from Painless Guitars in Las Vegas. We did a project together, and actually traded me out for a tattoo. And yeah, I actually would not want to do that ever again because it was a really difficult time. It's hard to want to buy a new guitar when the guitar you have is already really, really good. Well, that's good. I mean, if you like what you have, you like what you have. That's awesome. I dig that a lot. Would you recommend the Lizard Spit Never Gloss over the Music Nomad Detailer for satin finishes? Yes, I would. The Never Gloss stuff is very good. It's very good. Um, Music Nomad has some good stuff. Their tools. Here's what I'll say about Music Nomad. Um, they're good for the recreational player. I On the chemical side, I would always recommend Lizard Spit above anything else. The stuff is so good. Um, it is so good. It's not like formulated in the United States and packaged in China or anything like that. It is made in Texas. Chris hand makes the stuff himself. Um, he just sent me pictures of this whole bottling thing he just bought, like this crazy. Um, he makes that Neverdull stuff. Actually, Martin just came out with that. You might be able to get it at your local store now, and it's actually Lizard Spit stuff. Says Lizard Spit on the back. As far as the Music Nomad tools go, I think they're really good for a person who is a recreational player who uh, To me, they're a good quality budget alternative to Stumac. I would almost never recommend any of those generic tools that you buy on Amazon. Almost never. I would always recommend Stumac above everything else. And I know that people have a hard time with that because it's so expensive, but tools are tools. They If you cheap out on tools, the quality of you're compromising on the wrong thing. If you cheap out on tools, you're compromising on the wrong thing. End of story. Um, for me, it would go Stumac and then Music Nomad for tools. Yep. Rob says he has to run a humidifier 24 hours a day during the winter. I get that. I used to live in Arizona and it was so dry all the time. You really had to worry about that a lot. Buy nice or buy twice. That's it, man. And not every tool I have obviously is from Stumac. I have this whole tool kit over here that is just stuff that I've accumulated over the years, and I have, a special screwdriver for here. I'll show you. Like this is a old Craftsman screwdriver, but it's actually ground off because this is actually for pilot screws on a Kian 39 millimeter carburetor back when I was doing dirt bike stuff. But this is what I use to screw in the last little bit on humbuckers to level out all the and straighten up all the screws. I don't know if you ever noticed that, but when you order a humbucker from me, all the screws are facing the same direction. Just a little anal over the top thing that I do, but that's the screwdriver I use it for. Use for that. Let's see, Jim Woodard. Thanks for the super chat, Jim. Hey Dylan, sorry I've been offline for a while, been super busy. Cool you got to meet my old bandmate at the build class. Hope to catch you live Thursday as well. Oh yeah, that was really cool. So Jim Woodard, who's in the comments here, when I was out in Colorado, one of his buddies that he played in a band with was building guitars that week. So I got to actually meet him, which is really, really cool. Yeah, man. Well, hey, you guys, it's getting down to be about an hour. This is normally what we do. Is about an hour on Tuesdays. On your online website, is there a way that to inbox you a photograph? No, there is not. I don't believe. You can email me if you want. You can email me if you want. Excellent. You guys have a great week. We're going to be doing news tomorrow. Please hit the subscribe button and the like button and use those links down below. I would really appreciate it. Thank you for all the super chats today. Thanks for hanging out. For those of you that asked about the t-shirt, I'll see if I can put that on the website later tonight maybe or in the morning. And you guys have a good one, and we will see you tomorrow for the news.